I want you to picture this. It's Monday morning. You step on the scale, hoping that this time the number has gone down. But instead, it's up. And here's the part that makes you want to throw the scale out the window. You've been eating less than ever, skipping dessert, walking every day, maybe even hitting the gym a few times a week. And yet, the belly just won't budge. I had a patient, let's call her Diane, who was 48. She came into my office with tears in her eyes and said, "Doctor, I'm starting to think something's broken in me. My body just doesn't work like it used to." And you know what? She wasn't wrong. Because after 40, your body really does change, in ways no one warns you about. Your hormones shift, your metabolism slows, and the rules you followed in your 20s and 30s, they can actually backfire now. Here's the truth. If you're eating less and moving more, but the scale won't move, it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you lack willpower. It's because you're fighting biology with the wrong tools. And once you understand the hidden hormonal traps that most people over 40 fall into, you can finally start working with your body instead of against it. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the most common hormonal mistakes that keep people stuck and exactly how to fix them. No crash diets, no magic pills, just science made simple and strategies that actually work in real life. So let's start with the first and probably most common roadblock: the silent hormone shift that's draining your energy and padding your midsection, even if you're eating healthy. I want you to imagine this. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're sitting at your desk, and suddenly it feels like someone pulled the plug on your energy. Your eyelids get heavy, your brain gets foggy, and the only thing you can think about is grabbing a muffin or a candy bar to make it through the rest of the day. Sound familiar? That's exactly what happened to my patient, Mark, who's 52. He swore he was eating healthy: oatmeal for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, but every afternoon he crashed hard and found himself in the break room reaching for cookies. What he didn't know was that he was showing classic signs of insulin resistance, one of the most common and most overlooked hormonal changes after 40. Here's what's going on inside your body. Every time you eat, your pancreas releases insulin, the hormone that helps shuttle glucose from your bloodstream into your cells to be used for energy. But when you're insulin resistant, your cells stop listening to insulin's signal, almost like they've hung a "do not disturb" sign. The glucose has nowhere to go, so it stays in your blood and eventually gets stored as fat, especially around your midsection. That's why you can be eating the same foods you did in your 30s, but suddenly your waistline starts expanding. The lesson here is powerful. If you're over 40 and struggling with stubborn belly fat, constant afternoon crashes, or carb cravings, it's not a sign you need to cut even more calories. It's a sign your body's sugar energy system needs a reset. By focusing on stabilizing your blood sugar, with protein-first meals, high-fiber foods, and reducing refined carbs, you can restore your energy and make weight loss possible again. And while insulin resistance is a big player, it's not the only hormone working against you. The next one might surprise you, because it's not about food at all. It's about stress. I'll never forget a patient named Lisa, 49 years old, who came to me convinced she just needed a tougher workout routine. She was doing boot camp classes 5 days a week, counting every calorie, yet her belly seemed to be growing, not shrinking. When we dug deeper, the real culprit wasn't her diet or exercise at all. It was cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, working overtime. Cortisol is designed to save your life in emergencies. Back in ancient times, it helped you run from danger by releasing stored energy into your bloodstream. But here's the problem. Your body doesn't know the difference between running from a predator and racing to meet a work deadline while caring for aging parents. Chronic stress keeps cortisol levels elevated all day long, and that signals your body to store fat, especially deep inside your abdomen around your organs. This cortisol belly is more than just stubborn fat. It's linked to inflammation, cravings for sugar and salty foods, disrupted sleep, and a slower metabolism. Lisa's story is common. Many people over 40 push through stress like it's a badge of honor, not realizing the silent damage it's causing. The insight here is simple but powerful. You can't out-diet or out-exercise chronic stress. Real progress starts when you train your body to step out of survival mode. That might mean adding 10 minutes of deep breathing before bed, swapping one high-intensity workout for a gentle walk, or practicing mindfulness in the morning. When Lisa learned to manage her stress and support her nervous system, her sleep improved, cravings eased, and that stubborn belly fat finally started to melt. And while stress can quietly work against you, another hormone can slow everything down, even when your labs look normal: your thyroid. A few years ago, a patient named Karen, 55, came to see me frustrated and confused. She had all the classic signs of a sluggish metabolism: constant fatigue, unexplained weight gain, thinning hair, and feeling cold even in the summer. But her doctor told her everything was normal. All they tested was TSH, the most basic thyroid marker, and it fell inside the wide lab reference range. Here's what most people don't realize. Your thyroid is like the CEO of your metabolism, directing how fast or slow every cell in your body works. And while TSH can give part of the picture, it's far from the whole story. Optimal thyroid function, especially for women and men over 40, can't be fully understood without a complete panel. Free T3, free T4, reverse T3, and thyroid antibodies. Sometimes TSH looks fine on paper, but free T3, the active hormone your cells actually use, is at the bottom of the range, leaving you sluggish and unable to lose weight no matter what you try. When Karen asked for this full panel, we found her free T3 was low and her antibodies were slightly elevated, indicating early autoimmune activity. With targeted support, her energy came back, her mood improved, and her weight finally began to respond to healthy changes. The lesson here? Don't settle for normal when your body is telling you something's off. You know your symptoms better than anyone, and advocating for a deeper look can be life-changing. And while the thyroid often plays a starring role in stubborn weight, another hormonal imbalance can trap you in fat storage mode, even if you're eating perfectly, and that's estrogen dominance. I once worked with a client named Maria, 47, who was eating clean, lifting weights 3 times a week, and walking daily. Her upper body looked toned, but her hips, thighs, and lower belly just wouldn't change. She was frustrated, telling me, "It's like my body is storing fat in all the wrong places, no matter what I do." What Maria didn't know was that she was experiencing estrogen dominance. Not necessarily too much estrogen overall, but too much in relation to progesterone. After 40, progesterone levels naturally decline faster than estrogen, and this imbalance can keep your body locked in fat storage mode, especially in the hips and thighs. It can also bring on bloating that makes you feel 5 months pregnant, mood swings that hit harder after your period, breast tenderness, and trouble sleeping in the second half of your cycle. And here's the kicker. Modern life makes it worse. Everyday exposure to xenoestrogens from plastics, cosmetics, and even household cleaners can mimic estrogen in the body. Add in chronic stress, which further depletes progesterone, plus poor liver detox from processed foods and alcohol, and you've got the perfect storm. For Maria, the turning point came when she supported her liver with more cruciferous vegetables, swapped plastic containers for glass, reduced her toxic load, and made sleep a non-negotiable. Within months, the stubborn lower body fat started to shift, and she felt more like herself again, calmer, lighter, and in control. The big takeaway? Sometimes it's not about eating less or working out harder. It's about restoring balance so your body can burn fat instead of clinging to it. And while estrogen dominance can quietly hold you back, another hormone imbalance can make you feel hungry all the time, even right after you've eaten, and that's leptin resistance. Not long ago, I met David, a 51-year-old who told me, "Doc, I can finish dinner and still feel like I could eat a second one." He wasn't overeating out of boredom or habit. His hunger felt real and urgent. That constant gnawing feeling was a classic sign of leptin resistance. Leptin is your body's "I'm full" hormone, produced by fat cells to signal your brain that you've had enough to eat and can stop now. But when you're leptin resistant, it's like the phone line between your fat cells and your brain has too much static. The more body fat you carry, the more leptin your body makes, but the brain stops hearing the message. The cruel twist? Leptin resistance makes you hungrier, slows your metabolism, and encourages your body to store more fat, especially around the middle. This is why so many people over 40 feel like they're thinking about food all day, even when they're trying to eat better. In David's case, years of chronic stress, processed foods, poor sleep, and yo-yo dieting had thrown his leptin system out of balance. The solution wasn't about willpower or eating less. It was about healing the system so the hunger signals could work properly again. We focused on reducing inflammation with whole, nutrient-dense foods, improving his sleep quality, and spacing his meals so his body could reset between eating times. Within weeks, he noticed that meals actually satisfied him for hours, and for the first time in years, he wasn't battling cravings all day. The key insight here? Fix the signal, and your body will naturally find balance. And while leptin resistance can make it feel impossible to get ahead, another hormone decline after 40 can slow your recovery, shrink your muscle, and make fat loss even harder. And that's your growth hormone. A client of mine, Steve, 54, came to me saying, "I'm doing the same workouts I've done for years, but now I'm sore for days. My muscles aren't growing, and I just feel weaker." What Steve was experiencing wasn't just age catching up to him. It was the natural decline of growth hormone. Growth hormone isn't just for kids. In adults, it plays a huge role in muscle repair, fat metabolism, recovery, sleep quality, and even skin health. The challenge is that after age 30, our natural production drops by about 14% every decade. By the time you hit your 40s and 50s, you're working with significantly less than you used to, and your body feels the difference. Low growth hormone can mean slower recovery after workouts, less muscle despite training, more belly fat, thinner skin, and lower overall energy. Steve had been pushing himself harder, thinking more effort would solve the problem. But in reality, his body needed smarter recovery strategies, not just more work. Once we shifted his approach, adding 2 short sessions of high-intensity interval training a week, improving his sleep by keeping his bedroom cool and dark, and incorporating intermittent fasting a couple of days a week, his progress came back. Within 2 months, his muscle tone improved, soreness eased, and he felt stronger than he had in years. The takeaway here is simple. After 40, your body's ability to recover and build lean tissue depends as much on your hormones as it does on your workouts. Support your growth hormone naturally, and you'll get more results from the effort you put in. And once you understand all these hormonal players, the next step is putting the pieces together into a clear, practical action plan you can start today. By now, you've seen how much your hormones influence your weight, energy, and overall health after 40. But knowing the why is only half the battle. The real change comes from what you do next. I always tell my patients to start with 3 powerful, doable steps that make the biggest impact. Step 1 is to get proper lab work done. Not just the basics, but a full picture. Fasting insulin, a complete thyroid panel, cortisol rhythm, inflammatory markers, and any test your symptoms suggest. Think of it as your body's dashboard. You wouldn't drive across the country with half your gauges covered, so don't try to navigate your health that way either. Step 2 is to address insulin sensitivity first. I've seen time and again that when you stabilize blood sugar, everything else gets easier. That means eating protein first at meals, getting enough fiber, reducing refined carbs, and considering natural supports like berberine if your doctor agrees. When your energy is steady, your cravings drop, and your body starts burning fat instead of hoarding it. Step 3 is to fix the stress-sleep hormone cycle. You can't out-diet or out-exercise chronic stress and poor rest. Prioritize quality sleep. Aim for a cool, dark, quiet room, and build small daily habits that help you decompress, whether that's a short walk, deep breathing, or journaling. These 3 steps work like a foundation. Get them in place, and every other change you make will stick better and last longer. And as you take those first actions, remember, your body isn't your enemy. Work with it. Give it what it needs, and it will reward you. Thanks for listening. I am Dr. Jonathan Blake Carter, always bringing you useful information about health.